Hello everyone, it's Queen V. I'm back to you with another video. This video is an update to the Kei'Mani Latigue story. Before I begin, I would like to send my continued condolences and support to the family and community as you are grieving the loss of your child and community member at this time. According to the indictment for her father, Darnell Jones Ogletree, on or about March 17th, 2025 through March 18th, 2025, that the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design caused the unaliving of Kei'Mani Latigue. Kei'Mani Latigue's body was discovered in a vacant house on March 24th, 2025. A month later, that vacant house caught on fire on April 19th, 2025, which is also an ongoing investigation. Darnell Jones Ogletree was indicted on 15 counts, which includes 4 counts of aggravated homicide, 2 counts of SA, 3 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of aggravated burglary, 2 counts of endangering children, 1 count for gross abuse of a corpse, and 2 counts for tampering with evidence. WTOL 11 did an investigation on the defendant, Darnell Jones Ogletree, whose criminal record stretches back more than 15 years. Prior to him being charged for the unaliving of his 13-year-old child, Kei'Mani Latigue. His next court appearance is scheduled for May 23rd, 2025. Darnell Jones Ogletree's violent tendencies were well documented long before the alleged homicide. Neighbors and authorities say they witnessed him spiraling in and out of police custody, but repeatedly avoiding serious punishment despite a lengthy record of DV, weapons charges, and assault. In 2019, Angela Sylvia and other residents on 4th Street witnessed a terrifying scene. Jones Ogletree holding his wife by the throat over a balcony, threatening to throw her off. He was this close to throwing her, Sylvia said. Neighbor Harold Glander confronted Jones during the ordeal. I yelled up to him, "If you don't pull her back, I'm coming up," he said. He almost let go of her. Officers arrived to find Jones with a weapon. He was charged with DV, but after pleading no contest, he served no jail time. Instead, he completed a substance abuse program. Jones Ogletree's first known address was at age 19. In 2011, he was intoxicated and screaming outside his apartment. Months later, he and another man attempted to set fire to a warehouse using a lighter and flammable liquid. Charged with arson, he later pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and was placed on probation. Despite being a convicted felon who could no longer have a weapon, he was caught with one in 2015 after shooting a weapon at a local residence. Again, he received probation, which he violated shortly after by smashing a window during a work release program. In 2017, he escalated further by smashing a car alternator into another man's face, resulting in a felonious assault charge. The victim required 20 stitches. Jones Ogletree pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and again avoided significant jail time. His record also includes multiple disorderly conduct charges, weapons violations, and threats against officers. In May 2019, officers found him intoxicated on his porch with a weapon and later threatening to harm an officer. In August 2022, Jones Ogletree was indicted after he was found in a daycare parking lot drunk and with a crack pipe and firing a weapon. He served several months in the corrections center of Northwest Ohio. The incident occurred nearly 3 years prior to the horrific allegations that place him behind bars on charges of SA and homicide of his daughter. He was arrested in Columbus, Ohio, and is awaiting trial in Lucas County. Former neighbors expressed sadness but not shocked. I was surprised at first, Sylvia stated, of hearing the news about Kei'Mani. Then I thought, if he could blank one person, who's to say he wouldn't do it again? Another neighbor added, they can't change their stripes. People can't change unless they want to, and I don't think he wants to. Jones Ogletree has also served brief prison terms in Franklin and Lorain counties for weapon-related offenses. In both cases, he scratched serial numbers of the weapons, yet he repeatedly returned to the streets. Again, condolences to the family and community at this time as you are grieving the loss of your child and community member. Again, I cannot begin to imagine what you are feeling, because this is truly a disturbing and sad case. Again, I know that persons are presumed innocent until they are found guilty by their peers. However, there is a however. This monster, yes, I said this monster, has had a pattern of disorderly conduct and allegedly assaulting persons. So he had no legal business to being around Kei'Mani Latigue. So again, there are more questions than answers. The system obviously was not keeping track of his previous behaviors. It was a news organization who compiled his previous history, which begs the question, why didn't the system keep this person away from the general public, he is not only a danger to himself, but others, including children. The negligence of the prosecutor's office and judges that they did not do their due diligence on Darnell Jones Ogletree past behaviors as to why he should not have been released to the general public. To me, no one asked or did their additional information on his violent history and why they would allow him back to the community, which leads me back to the grandmothers of this case. Linda Ogletree, knowing the information on this case but did not respond to authorities until she was confronted with information of their communication via a warrant that she was trying to hide something. And let's also not forget about Dorothy Latigue, the grandmother and guardian of Kei'Mani Latigue at the time of this unfortunate incident. Why was the defendant, Darnell Jones Ogletree, given access to this child without your presence? You may not have known everything, but you knew something and still allowed him access to your grandchild. That is a huge red flag that investigators and prosecutors must continue to seek during this case. Let's also question child services as they received reports that something was going on with Kei'Mani Latigue. Persons were ringing the alarm from former teachers, Kei'Mani Latigue's classmates' parents, the bus driver, which leads me to believe, what are they hiding? Are they ashamed to say that they did not follow their own guidelines by not checking in on this child? Yes, they had interviewed Kei'Mani by herself. But when a child is experiencing some form of abuse, they are at times reluctant to speak up. Heck, even adults are scared to telling other adults when they are being abused, let alone a child. And we must address Jones Ogletree alleged mental health history, which leads me to question, why would the other adults allow the defendant in this case access to Kei'Mani Latigue, knowing his previous criminal history in addition to his mental history, and why his name was never brought up in reports? The defense can indeed use this to showcase his mental state during the final hours of his child, Kei'Mani Latigue. However, there is a however. It is the prosecutor's office duty to showcase that due to his history of violence and with his knowledge of mental health and possibly refusing mental health services does not excuse his behavior for what occurred to his child. It is our duties as adults, when our babies come to us with allegations and reports are being submitted on behalf of our children, we must take the same care and due diligence as for other children. Our babies deserve the same emotional support, and they should not be neglected when these reports are brought forward. We must address the biases placed on our children and hold the system accountable when they fail our babies. If the system has limited personnel, it is your obligation to hire and train more persons of said communities. This type of work is not for everyone, but we must change course or we will continuously come back to the same results and continuously reporting on these unfortunate stories. According to Black and Missing Inc., in 2023, an estimated 224,706 persons of color were reported missing. Of that group, an estimated 162,755 persons were under the age of 18. Yet, missing minority children are grossly underreported in the news, and this is why it is our duty to ensure that we do not spread misinformation, disinformation, aka lying, when we see these reports, because it does have an effect on the ongoing investigation. It is our duty to ensure that persons that are missing are given the same grace as other victims of crimes. And we should be mindful that it does affect those family members and loved ones who are waiting for their persons to return home. I will leave in the comments and description below for organizations and hotlines as it pertains to missing persons as well as child services. And as always, find our people, protect Black children, known and unknown. Say their names. Say her name, Kei'Mani Latigue. Justice for Kei'Mani Latigue. And as always, please be safe out here, and I will see you in the next video.